Hello beautiful people wherever you are. It has been a long way and a long time here, a little bit early in the morning here. We have just woke up with much of the tragedy that have just occurred, and also we can talk about much of the things that have been happening east, west and south, and every kind of the postquams and the interquams that I always talk about. They have just fulfilled here a little bit, but we're going to be talking about everything. We're going to be getting forward as far as everything is just in concern, and too much of the people are just waiting for this kind of the report to come out. Channel Squad to back again, subscribe, like, share, comment, so we can just go forward. Always we are strong enough to make it happen, because I understand we have much of the problems to entitle, to endure, and we have to understand that the tragedies always sometimes occur, because how I can just talk about is early in the morning today. It was around 1 a.m. in the morning. Then I was having my father in the hospital a little bit, and just passed on. Karibu. Sasa inashikanga kwenda huko chini sana juu chingito chino asa kuyansa haran kuikerense haran nyonya bito acha niyeke tena. Internet teo e connectere su kama internet iko acha tuone kama itashika. Ilishika ku connect, lakini sasa mpaka internet iche ndogo. Kuna internet wifi iko inashika sasa nora ijali ne rakota no kufa korwa unatuambia tu tuko sawa. Go fresh. Ami chikoni mo ko. Nana kuna. Ayo si kitu ya dakika mbili. Hello beautiful people wherever you are. It has been a long way and a long time here, a little bit early in the morning here. We have just woke up with much of the tragedy that have just occurred, and also we can talk about much of the things that have been happening east, west and south, and every kind of the postquams and the interquams that I always talk about. They have just fulfilled here a little bit, but we're going to be talking about everything. We're going to be getting forward as far as everything is just in concern, and too much of the people are just waiting for this kind of the report to come out. Channel Squad to back again, subscribe, like, share, comment, so we can just go forward. Always we are strong enough to make it happen, happen, because I understand we have much of the problems to entitle to endure, and we have to understand that the tragedies always sometimes occur, because how I can just talk about is early in the morning today. It was around 1 a.m. in the morning. Then I was having my father in the hospital a little bit, and he just passed on, and he left us. And much of the people who ever understood who he is, he was just a legend of agriculture, and much of the things talk about our father also, and who was heading the family until I'm just the last born, and until I'm just at this kind of the time have just grown up until right now. He has been part of the program to assess and also encourage, to make sure that, and also supporting to make sure that everything gonna be getting forward. I know it's not an easy way for us to have this kind of a caliber moment, for us to understand that it's a way of this is life. I understand it's life, and how everything will be. Much of the people we have cried, and everything is so sustainable, because already we have just taken the body to the morgue, so as I can just be stored there for a little bit while, so as we can just sit down as a family and make sure that we are knowing what is the real forward, because we have to get we can call it a committee, and also we arrange, because much of the family members are still approaching, and also the sisters to my father, the uncles, talk about the uncles and talk about the aunties. Everybody is just democratizing right now to make sure that we are just having some of the condolences to the family, and wherever you are, support and make sure that whenever you're going to be talking about, give to condolences to this kind of the way, and rest in peace to Mr. Patrick Sigano, also having the name like I want to be having, because here at home you have to use your father's name as the legacy of now. So this is my brother again calling here. Wait, Buddha. Niaje. Fiti man, nilikupigia asubuhi manze, kilikuwa kamenyalia. Sasa unajua mzae bana ametuacha manze. Ya. Kamerieta? Mambo iko aital kuruka manze. So acha nitakupigia tu kidogo tu, niko na kashughuli kidogo tu hapa. Aya. So guys, everybody's just talking about, what is the problem here, what's gonna be the issue, and how was it been. Guys, you can just remember a little bit of an extra point to add up much of the people to understand what is really happening. My father had been sick a little bit, talk about he had been getting some of the high blood pressure, talk about also we can talk about sugar levels. They were coming up and down, insulin levels here and there. So it has been a while, for more than like 3 years. He had been not even using any kind of sugar, brown sugar, any kind of sugar. He was not using any kind of a substance that have sugar. He was no longer using, and he was using brown ugali sometimes. So he was selective in much of the things that we're going to be taking. Much of the time he was drinking much of the soup, and I would be making sure that I'm going to be bringing much of the soup home, and they're going to be getting the soup all the time, because he liked the soup muchly. Talk about the hooves, the soup of the hooves, and liked that kind of the match, and I was ever bringing it to him to make sure that you're gonna be sustainable. He liked it, and he never always told me, whenever you go there, remember the soup. So I can just talk about that's how it was. So how the things were, even you can just remember there's a time I brought here Dr. Kibe, and he came and just prescribed him, and he understood, he just diagnosed him, and they got that you're gonna be having much of the problems of the sugar levels and everything. He prescribed him, and he gave him much of the medication, and until right now he has got to this kind of the position talking about he has just left us. It's a way you can talk about God has his own fortunes to make sure that he's gathering his own people, and also much of the people don't have much of the things to do or outside there. Talk about they have this A, B, C, D with much of the people, that the people are just living so early, and it's just the 70s years, and we can understand it's a way, and we have to accept it. It has happened, and it's just a tragic thing that has just happened, that we never knew that it will just happen, because everybody's just wondering how is it happening like this one, because they know him is one of the super we can call him a super agriculturist. He was a very good farmer in terms of cultivation. I also remember he was part of the program to make sure that we learned, and you can just imagine he left much of the work so he can just do agriculture, which is always which I'm ever enduring myself into talking about. We're gonna be making it happen. Safi mambo kila kitu uko sawa? Thank you bro. So also much of the people are just democratizing to make sure that they are just giving the condolence, and also to understand, is it the real fact which has happened? So you understand, sometimes we have much of the people talk about, is it a real thing? Because my father used to go to the hospital and talk about, okay, let me go to the hospital a little bit, get some injections here and there and come back home. And I was the one who took him to the hospital, and also I always am getting him to hospital, much of the fruits home, everything that you're going to be needing, because always I talk about whenever I had this kind of a motorbike. Right now it's very easy for me to access, because I could just take him from home direct, because sometimes I could call, hey bro, where are you? Can you come and pick my dad? He's a little bit having some sickness here and there, and take him to the hospital there. So I was using those kind of the people talk about the border. Right now I have the bike, and I was using it meticulously to make sure that it's helping. I told you, whenever I just had that kind of a bike, I talked about that kind of the bike will be helping much of the environment and home, whoever has any kind of an emergency, talk about an hospital. So it was part of it. So I took him to the hospital on Thursday, and he was diagnosed, and he was admitted, and he was just there. He stayed there a little bit. He was not eating this well good, but he was pressurized with much of the doctors to eat, and also they had to make sure they're maintaining much of the hygiene there and everything. So I went on Thursday, so as I can just check on him at night, talked about, okay, I'm good, I'll just sleep and everything gonna be so good. They told me in the hospital, okay, we'll just assess. Whenever anything gonna getting bad, we shall just call you. Then I came on Friday, which was yesterday. I went there in the morning. I took there some tea. I was the one to take care, because I'm the one taking care, and I'm the one who is just living with him at the home. And it's the way I'm just constructing the house at my home. It's the same way I'm talking about. I'm just with him at my home. So I went there and talked about, okay, you're gonna be having some of the assessment ABCD, and this is how everything just went, and we talk about it. That's the way of us getting forward. But we have to understand how everything is coming. We have to know this is the way forward. This is not the way here. We have to understand, because it has been so chaotic. It has been a caliber of a moment talking about, oh my living God. It has been a way of ABCD. It has been a challenging week. It has been talk about right now the economy, and also I have a young brother, the young sibling, talk about my step brother who is Sigano, and I had already arranged with my father about gonna be taking him to the school, talk about the university, and the only person who could take him to the university was me, and I was just still preparing for the money, and also every month I was giving out 50,000, and I started this kind of the month, so as you can just go to the university, because we are told to for a person to be enrolled in the university, we're going to be taking a lot of money for admission and something like that one. So we talked about, okay, that is the way forward, and how will we do it? So I talked about, okay, there's no problem, we have to go forward as far as everything is in concern. So as I always talk about, I'm going to be supporting, because right now the father was the one who was just handling this kind of the way of us going to go back to school and make sure that we're going to be learning to the university a little bit, and that is the way forward. And I appreciate the moment that I'm still available, and we're going to be making it up, because he was not having much of the thing. He had been so aged into the environment here a little bit, and the good fact is right now he could not even go out to the shamba a little bit here, and that's the nature how it was. So I had to take care of making sure everything is so fantastic, this kind of the caliber of the moment. So everything is just getting forward as everything is just assessed. Wait, Kombe! Yo! Safi mdogo. Mambo iko chonjo. Mdogo asalimiange watu. Omera. Icheo. Good morning.
Nani mjadona unasalimia Icheo?
Ni wewe Icheo nade. Sasa utarudisha. Nyakoromaro. Rudisha hiyo. Sasa. Leo ndo namuona. But nishaimuona once. Nishaimuona once. Yeah. Exactly, guys. We are still back to the camera a little bit here. So we are having much of the things, and right now we are just morning, and everything is so fantastic. So we are just a little bit sunbasking here, because there's no much of sleeping right now. I have Mr. Sigano. How are you, man?
I'm not fine, by the way.
Everything is good, man. Yeah. So right now you have to be easy, man. I understand how the program is, Yeah, be easy, man. We make sure that we are just finishing. It's his journey, man, and already has accomplished the journey. So we are just gauging ourselves. Are we gonna be reaching the age he has? So that's why we are just gauging ourselves. So get it easy. I know you are now flabbergasted, talking about how you're going to be getting to the school. He was the one handling much of your own proposals to make sure that you're going to be going to the university. So the only thing is you're going to be there, and the only thing is he left those kind of talk about the work for me to make sure that we're going to be getting to the school. So there's no problem about that. So every month, guys, I always give out 50,000 Kenya shillings, which is approximately 500 USD for him to go back to school. And I had already started it. I think you have cleared much of the school fees, and also that you are having arrears, and also you have cleared, talk about you have got your certificate. Exactly. So the good thing is I'm the one supporting it to happen, because my father was not having that kind of the time again, because he had been aged, so he could not even go to the shamba, he could not do much of the work. So we are the people. So sometimes we have this kind of the legacy from the proverbs talking about whenever now talk about the energy now of how can we call it, the energy of this kind of a hyena, it's unto his own of the tail. So we are the tails to make sure that the energy is going to be getting forward. So that is the way of getting forward. So you can say a word, man. I know it's a very, we were me and you yesterday, and talking about we're going to be giving him much of the rest at the hospital there, and we are taking care of him. Yesterday I was with Mr. Sigano there, and making sure that the father could be having much of the things, and even he was the one who washed the clothes, talk about he changed, and we washed him yesterday, and he's the one who washed the clothes as I was changing him yesterday, and also talking about we are ever talking about the hygienic things. So I appreciate, because we were there at the last moment, and nobody can talk about, oh, Gintu, why could you not take him to the hospital? No, he was in the hospital, and he died while he was in the hospital, and that is the fact that is there. So much of the people are still condolating our family also, and wherever you are, I really respect much of the time that you have just taken to make sure that you are just condoling with us, to make sure that everything is getting forward. So you are chasing the guys, even if the dad is gone, we understand he's gone and gone forever, but we have the maize field, and we had prompted to make sure that Sigano is having a maize here, so he can just keep on growing, and make sure they can just use this kind of the maize here for him to go back to school. And also I understand right now we have so many monkeys. Even we talk about, yes, we have this kind of the funeral right now, but the monkeys, who gonna be chasing? My father was the one who was taking care of the monkeys while I was telling you that you have to go to work so you can collect money and make sure that you are getting a little bit money for the pocket money, as you're going to be taking care of the monkeys here. So I understand he has left a very big gap, because right now he could not be here discussing about this kind of the matter. And also we have to understand this is the way of getting forward, and for much of the people who are just supporting, thank you much for you being there, so as we can just get it from. So you just go continue, man.
Okay.
Exactly, no problem. We understand, man. So guys, that is the scenario that we're going to be having here at home, and we talk about that's the way forward. And to always, I know it's not only that it's the first time, or much of the people who have lost all the parents, they're orphans. But the good thing is God has protected us up to this kind of the time. I am 25 years now, and my father has just gone. I know it's painful, because we have been here with him. We have been, even yesterday I was with him, even at the time, because I was there whenever they talked about okay, Gintu, you can now leave, because I left the hospital around 23 at night. I left at 23 at night, and I came back home with Sigano, and they told me that whenever we're going to be having any complication, we'll be called. So when I came only 1 hour, I was told that, oh, you remember, come and we have some 2-3 things to share. So when I went there, I was the one who was called to go there and check whatever is just happening. So when I went there, I was told that, oh, your father, it's how it has happened, and easy a little bit. They know how to introduce much of the thing. I knew how the thing, because I told them in case of an emergency only. So whenever they called me, I knew. And even my body yesterday was flabbergastically, and it was not good in terms of the well-being, how everybody can talk about well-being. So I talked about it, no problem, we have to get forward. So I had to come and know how we're going to be introducing to my family. It was now, I left to that kind of the side, it was around 00:30 hours at I talk about in the morning. Then whenever the information came, I just a little bit stayed there, so they can just call a person I know know that you will just inform my mom, so as you can just make sure that everything's so good, and also inform much of the people. You understand, here in the tradition, we have much of the people going to be screaming to make sure that they're going to be alerting much of the people and also remove that kind of the pain. Talk about that's how it was until from the hospital we have to transfer the body to the morgue. It has taken a lot of time until I've not even slept up to this kind of the time. So the fact is, it has been a way of talking about a very, very hard time right now, and pray for us and pray for me also to make sure that this kind of the hard moment going to be getting over. So guys, if you're going to be talking about, you're going to be talking about sending much of the condolences to my father and also to my family also, keep it tuned, keep it locked. We're going to be informing you much of the things, how they're going to be occurring, because it is just today and much of the people are still at my home there, and also I'm going to not provoke or intervene talking about going to be shooting much of the cameras. No, it's going to be taking a little bit time, so as you can just understand how the things are, so as you can make sure that everything is so fantastic. Because when I stay there, I'll just see much of the people crying east, west and south and talk about, oh, it will just elude me to make sure that I'm also crying, because I want to be strong, because no one is here talk about my brothers have not yet democratized here a little bit. I'm the one to make sure that I'm controlling how the thing's gonna be. My mother is now flat rate, my sisters are flat rate, so I understand this kind of the hardship, and it has just attacked me muchly this kind of the 2 weeks here, and I understand the wife gone, talk about this and the other things gone, attacks from this way, everything is this way, my father is this way. So we have to understand, pray for me so as I can just be strong enough to endure, and also to make sure that we are passing this kind of the tragic and the tragedy of the times right now. I know much of the people are going to be talking about, oh, A, B, C, D, I know, and give a sweet comment and talk about how the things going to be. I understand you people, whoever you are just watching, I understand you, and also support Gintu to make it happen, and salute to everyone who's going to be getting this kind of the caliber of the moment to understand that this is a tragedy that has just attacked us this kind of the time. I know much of the people going to be asking about, oh, Gintu, why are you we're going to be talking about going to be crying. Guys, I've cried since talk about 12. Right now, you're going to be approaching around 11 in the morning. So I'm good. It's 11:20 in the morning here. And I talk about I'm good and I'm very, very fantastic at this kind of the time. And too much of this kind of the things, sometimes they're going to be giving you a headache or never going to be sitting at home there. Sometimes you can feel that much of the people now coming, because it's right now, the information going to be now dispersing to much of the people. Even the much of the people are just getting this kind of the information right now. They're just wondering, how soon? How has it been this way? So it's something that we have to understand that it's a way of us to get forward. And I know it's a point of us to get forward. Very fantastic. So I understand that I've just told you about this kind of the 2-3 stories about my father and how we're going to be taking care of this kind of the point right now here, so as I can just handle it very fantastic. Hey, hello. Anense hano bana ndonya bintu hano. Yeah. Sawa, tiganiche. So guys, here I understand right now I'm heading the family right now until my bigger brothers will just arrive, and also talk about we have to make sure that we are getting much of the guests. I understand there are so many people will be coming, and whoever you we are watching the video, if you're gonna be approaching, you can just approach and give the condolences, and even talking about this, how everything gonna be getting very, very fantastic. So if you're gonna be supporting Gintu, commenting very sweetly, thank you very much, and also pray for me, pray for us as a family, so you can just get this kind of the moment cooling down, so as you can just make it happen. So everything is just good, and I'm the one taking care of everything right now. Talk about the breakfast, the lunch, everything gonna be taking care of it at this kind of the time, and you're gonna be making it happen. I understand it's something that it's an emergency, and also we have to get an emergency a way of us to handle much of the things east, west and south. So wherever you're coming from, thank you very much, and I'm gonna be coming to you back to this kind of the session to talk about this. This is the way of us getting forward, so you can just make it happen. So it's a tragedy, it's a tragedy. I know. It's a way of us getting forward. So I know much of the people have ever seen my dad, maybe through my videos, maybe they have ever been hearing from him, maybe has ever talked about, oh, he has talked about something that you have ever got. I know much of the people have ever arrived at my home. They know him. He doesn't have much of the things, much of the words to talk, but it's something that we have have to understand this is the way of us to get forward. So I'm going to be getting home, so you can just make sure that they are putting much of the passwords, and we have much of the people here, and they're just talking about, okay, Gintu, for us to stay here, I have here a little bit of the password here. They just talk about the Wi-Fi here. They're just using it a little bit to continue staying, so can just give us the morale of us to be very, very strong. I know right now even my mom is, I don't know if you can even see, I don't know if she's even walking. I don't know. Much of the talk about that kind of an anger just come out, and it's so terrible. So we have to understand how the things come. Thank you very much, guys. Let's go. Karibu. Kuike sana. Era kisikani bongo. Anata. Onele.
Vantu baraketa. Ense ku.
Kuna mpaka umehamia around kakume.
Lakini sasa inashikanga kwenda huko chini sana juu hichi chingito chino sasa kuyanse haran kuikerense haran nyonya bito acha niyeke tena internet teo connected so kama internet iko acha tuone kama itashika ilishika connect, lakini sasa mpaka internet iche dogo. Kuna internet wifi iko inashika sasa nora jari ne rakot
Ananyore kasi no kufa korwa. Unatuambia tu tu kwa.
Sawa. Uko fresh? Ami chikoni mo kwa. Nana kuna. Ayo si kitu ya dakika mbili.